Well, Coach, start with the polls. You guys are picked second in each as the defending Big Sky champs. No surprise there. But does that put any extra pressure on you as a first-year head coach?
Well, again, Colter, I don't pressure. It depends on your definition, and plus, I've never been a head coach, so I don't know what that's like. I mean, everyone keeps asking how's it going to be like to try to repeat. And I was like, I don't know, because I've never gone for number one, and so I've only done it as an assistant, done it as a position coach, and so in this post, I think we'll all kind of find out together, and I'll be able to get back to you at a later date. But a lot of respect goes to our players, to Coach Baldwin. There's still a lot of residue from him, and he had a hand in making this effort happen via media and the coaches. So it's our job and our responsibility and duty to do what we can with that. But you know as well as I do, it's preseason. It's good talk. It's good for you guys to throw around for the next 2.5, 3 months, and then before you know it, midway through the season, no one's talking about the preseason polls. Everyone's talking about the postseason polls. So that needs to be our focus. Basketball and glory for 24 hours. Just understand where you guys see us and the coaches see us. But at the end of the day, I look at it as North Dakota. I mean, kudos to them. Kudos to them. Joined the league a few years back and putting themselves in a position to be looked all the way upon by every school in the conference. And Bubba's done a great job. And it's made our league that much more competitive. And so we're all excited. It'll be a good game. We missed them last year, and so we look forward to it out there. Middle of the season. I think it's late October, so it'll be fun, regardless. But we're excited.
I know when I talked to you last year, and we talked extensively about kind of the downfalls of the 2015 season, how much that motivated you guys, but also just the standard that you guys have set. Being a guy that's been around the program, I mean, does that ease your transition to the head coaching role, being that you do know kind of the fabric of what Eastern Washington football is all about?
I don't think that hurts us, but it's not the magic powder, because if that was the case, you would always hire within, and the guy with the magic dust is always the next guy in line. And so I think that helps. It certainly doesn't hurt, but at the same time, every team has its own identity. Every year you can use different things throughout the year to kind of motivate you, but I'm not in for momentum from a season to a season. I mean, that's a long time. Last time I checked, Uncle Mo isn't 8 months long. If that's the case, boy, I'm in the wrong profession. I need to be selling momentum for a living, along with some other things. And so, at the end of the day, a lot of people have asked about the last game of the year and what happened on the last play of the year. Essentially, for us, that's not going to motivate us anymore had he dropped the ball, because again, we're creating our own identity. At the end of the day, it's a new team. We have new players, some of the same, obviously, some of the same faces, but this family is different than the 2016 family. So the 15 season told us a lot. Starting out 6-2, feeling ourselves a little bit, and then we didn't hit a speed bump. We hit a wall for 3 games. Went on the slide, ended up 6-5. That was a bad taste. You call it motivation. I didn't say bad taste. We just didn't play very well. We didn't coach very well. We weren't, in a position to put ourselves at the end of games to win. And so, in the off season, we tried to fix a little bit of those. Not an overhaul, but little tweaks and little minor fixes.
Losing a guy like Cooper Kupp has been such a relentless leader for you for the last several years. Where do you turn down? Who does that leadership role fall to?
Well, we don't have a ton of seniors, Colter, not a ton. And some would say, well, that's a deficiency because you don't have a ton of seniors. Well, it depends on what those seniors do and how much they play and how much they factor in the offseason or how much they speak or how much they're examples. Cooper Kupp was a great leader, but he wasn't a leader by vocality or being vociferous. I mean, he was truthfully a leader by example. You almost had to pay the man to talk at times, and so that's how he went about his business at the end of the day. Now, we have a dozen seniors, but I think we have a junior class that's got a lot of leadership qualities too. So different ways to lead. We try to get our guys not to force themselves to lead, because you start doing that, you start kind of seeing between the lines, and all of a sudden you slip after making a comment, a broad comment and then you don't hold yourself accountable. We want to make sure we put guys in positions to be as successful, whether it's on the field or in leadership roles. But we'll try to identify a few more of those guys come fall. But in the offseason, we've identified 4 team captains that I think were voted on by the players that were unanimous picks in terms of those guys, household names, and 3 of those guys being seniors, and one of them being a junior in our quarterback. So we're still a work in progress as far as the leadership piece.
Captains are Gage Gruber. Who else?
Nick Splendorio, Andre Lino, and Albert Havili.
Okay, awesome. Where have you seen Gage grow the most in this last year?
You know, in totality. I mean, just growing up, because 18 months ago, you didn't know who he was. Like, I barely knew who he was. And then all of a sudden, you go back a year, and you're like, okay, we got a guy that could make a few ball plays and been in situations that aren't real intense in 15, but been on the field and kind of see physically he can hang in there, so to speak. I've seen him grow because he's now started to branch his or spread his wings, not just offensively, but also kind of to the defensive guys or a skill position in the weight room, getting guys on board, directing traffic, being more demonstrative, and with accolades comes guys looking at you, no matter if you want them to look at you or not. And so he's given some good directions to the younger players, and essentially it's his team. Offensively, for sure, we have one senior, Nick Splendorio, on the team, and so he needs to be the guy truly with the whistle in hand, with the police vest on, blowing the whistle, waving his arms as if there's an intersection with no lights on. You go this way, you go that way, you stop here, you come here, and he's not there yet, but he's taking steps forward.
From your perspective,
you guys have done such a good job over the last 15 years or so of having elite receivers and then replacing them with another group. Do you feel like you have the guys in the stable right now to do that again?
We do. You know, I'd be lying to you if I said we don't. We recruit every year, and our class is good, just like everybody else's class is good. You never had, like Coach Baldwin said, you never have a bad class. When the class signs. Now, you find that all out, as you know, a couple years in, how productive guys are. Health has a factor. Being away from home has a factor. There's a lot of factors that go into college football players, no matter what position they play. We feel we got a few guys you haven't heard of, a few guys you have heard of, but at the end of the day, it's productivity as an offense. We're much less concerned about who gets it as long as we get it. And so last I checked, it's score. No matter how you score, we need to score points, whether it's through the air, on the ground, whether it's a screen, whether it's a draw, whether it's a fumble recovery, whatever it is, it's our job to score on offense. And if that means it's not 5,100 yards in the air, then that means it's not 5,100 yards in the air. Productivity is all relative, so to speak. So we're excited about those guys and their opportunity.
Given what you guys have coming back at running back and the offensive line experience you have, and combined with your offensive line background, do you expect that you guys will run the ball a little more?
We have to run the ball a little bit more. We need to include the quarterback still in the run game because it presents an extra hat and creates an extra gap. We need to continue to do some of the things we built on last year, and so we're going to be kind of a little bit of an eclectic offense. We're going to pull from a lot of different eras of Eastern Washington football, and some of that's from last year. With an experienced offensive line, we think we have experience you can't coach. Trust me, doesn't mean they're going to be better just because they're older. Trust me, I got 3 kids. They get older, and a lot of them aren't better at home, and so we expect them to be better. We're gonna drive them to be better. But I'm excited about those backs too. All 3 of those guys have got another year under their belt. 2 of them were 18-year-olds coming off a high school season. We soon forget that, and they're going to be trusted more in our offense. We're going to give more opportunities. And like a great shooter, you don't give the ball to them once a quarter and say you're supposed to make it. And Steph Curry doesn't launch 1-3 a quarter. He launches 1-3 every possession. And so we've got to get those guys opportunities to be able to get in a flow, into a rhythm, and all of a sudden, if we got a hot hand because we've given the ball to a guy 5 or 6 times, we need to feed that hot hand. So it's our job as coaches too to put them in positions to be successful and consistent.
Defensively, the offense gets so many headlines, but it seems like in year 2 you guys made so many strides in Jeff's defense. With some experience coming back, how essential will that be now to your guys' success this year?
Well, I think it speaks volumes, one, just on paper, that the media says, here's the deal. Eastern, you got 2 defensive preseason picks, and Eastern offensive, you got 1 preseason pick. I love it. They got 2 times the picks on defense, and that's taken a long time to get there. You and I both know we've been around the league forever. I've seen it firsthand. Certainly almost every week for the last 20 years as an Eastern guy. We've had some really good, Eagle defenses. We've had some really good Eagle defenders, individuals. I'm excited for Jeff Schmetty's defense and those assistant football coaches on defense because it is year 3. The verbiage doesn't sound so different. They're making actual tweaks instead of implementing new schemes, and so guys are understanding. We have a defensive backfield that we think is very experienced and very talented. We have a defensive front that we think is battle tested. They got some beef. They make some plays, and they're helping those linebackers out and keeping linebackers free to make plays. So this season will be the telltale story, as we all know. But we're excited going forward with the defense, because if they can make us work in practice, that means we got a chance on Saturdays. And slowly but surely, I was applauding them 100% all year last year, because in the league, I didn't even look at the stats, but I think in league alone, our points given up in the league was top 3 in the league. And so that's big. That's going to continue to be big, because last time I checked and you checked, you don't score, you usually win. And so it's our job to keep guys from scoring, and on offense to score as much as we can.
Last thing for you then, what is going to be the key for you guys to keep this thing rolling and be right on the elite in the Big State Conference?
Well, number one, we need to maintain our swagger. We're East Washington University. A lot of our guys have built this to where it's at. No matter who's the face of the program, so to speak, in the head coach role, the players make plays. Coaches make calls, players make plays, and they've done a heck of a job as the players with confidence, with their swag in the last umpteen years. And a lot of that has to do with Coach Baldwin. It's our job to facilitate those same things. Protect the red, as we always talk about. Being at home is a very special place for us. Always has been, always will be.